Exciting because I'm from Columbia, Howard County. I am awesome. I'm excited to be here on this Friday. Super excited to meet Winnie. And if I feel like I did not get the cue to wear blues as Rickie and our guests did. I feel like they communicated without me and left me out.
Rickie. Okay.
Rickie's not talking to y'all today. And how are we looking on camera? I just want to, we're great? Awesome. Okay, so we've passed the mic back to Rickie James.
Yes, Donnatella.
And today we have the beautiful, intelligent, articulate Winnie with us. She's here to tell us about tales of transitioning. Are you excited to hear, Rickie?
Yes, I'm all ears now.
Yeah. Okay.
Transition is always something delightful to hear. Someone falling into the right spots.
Yeah. Sometimes the transition can be challenging.
Well, let's not speak about that. Let's speak about the good news.
I mean, well, and there you have it. So Rickie and I are kind of like, there's yin and yang that goes together. We're opposites. Yeah. So Winnie, I'm super excited to have you here. As I mentioned when we were off camera, I am a new addition to Community Cuts, and I've only had the pleasure to interview one other person, which is a member of our city council, and her last name is Hudson. So today you will be my second interview guest here, so I'm super excited. And why don't I just turn it over to you and feel comfortable to start and talk to our viewers just like they're your friends, as they are now.
Sure. First of all, I'm very honored to be your second interviewee. I think in terms of transitioning, this is a transition period for a lot of folks. So I know when I was asked to come and speak to my personal experience, I thought perhaps others will relate. It's a transition period in lots of folks' personal lives, like the country, the world. I mean, transition really is the name of the game.
I agree, especially for people in the United States under this administration. And we are a bipartisan platform, and the views that we share are our individual views, not necessarily those associated with Community Cuts. But I have to say that a lot of people, whether they will admit it or not, are transitioning.
Yeah.
And everybody has their tell.
Brooklyn has transitioned from downtown, everybody with a store to jump into, these tall buildings.
Yeah.
These buildings are super tall and super large and super wide.
Yeah.
All co-ops and buildings of nondescript issues. You see them, but you don't know what they're for. So it's a different time in Brooklyn. Before we had Macy's, Gimbels, Bonds. You can jump into there, Woolworths. But now you don't even have that even to mention or think about when you're downtown.
Yeah, because Macy's actually closed earlier this year for good. But let's bring us back from out of the borough. We all know that Brooklyn is the best borough out of the 5 boroughs, and directed
She's
more.
From Queens.
And as a Brooklynite, I'm still 10 toes down with Brooklyn being the best, and I did not grow up here. But Winnie, why don't you tell us a bit about your tales of transition?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's interesting thinking about the transition. I think the past 12 months have certainly been the most intense periods of transition for me. But like my personality, I've been shifting, like quite a bit for years. Primarily, I can kind of start from a perspective of like my professional life. I did a lot of jumping over the years, jumping in terms of like where I felt, the most comfortable, my place as an adult and as a professional, like where I could add more value. I'm in the healthcare space.
I was gonna ask what industry are we speaking
research,
about?
but specifically research within like the healthcare space. So I started. I've worked in pretty much almost all the domains, like from like wet labs to clinical research. I spent many years in clinical research, and then I moved over to health technology and public health. And even just like the way that I did it has been just very like strategic and systematic. Going back to school to get my master's in public health, which actually brought me back to New York.
So excellent. We're happy to have you.
Yeah, we mentioned I did grow up in Queens. I was born in Brooklyn.
So you're more Brooklyn than I am, actually. I'm a transplant.
I was born right here at Brooklyn Hospital. But I moved very early on to Queens, and I spent my childhood there. I did go to high school in Brooklyn. Right here, Brooklyn Tech. And then
Very good.
And then but then I moved to Maryland like halfway through and ended up going to college there and kind of starting my adult life there. But then moved back to New York and
that in itself is a transition.
For sure.
City life, suburban life, back to city life.
Yeah.
Before you go any further, I do want to mention when you speak about looking for the places that best benefited you, and I'm sure places that also were open-handed and appreciative of what you were delivering to them, right? I know that's different. And I happen to know that you are a consultant
now. So I'm moving into the consultant space.
Is that part of the transition?
It's absolutely, it is a critical part of the transition. But interesting, like you kind of started talking, you touched on how I found essentially my niche area. And honestly, I feel like I stumbled into it. I started, I'm a data kind of tech person. I lean towards kind of like looking to see what the data is telling us. And very strategic, like by nature, I'm fairly strategic with everything that I do.
Do you analyze yourself a lot?
I do, like all day, every day.
What it sounds like.
All day, every day.
Like analyzing yourself.
I do. Just about anything and everything, which is something I'll touch on that. But I as I transitioned to the different fields, I just have like that. I felt, I would look into, let's say for instance, from like working in a lab, like a biomedical lab. I knew early on that this wasn't necessarily for me. But then I was like, I want to work with people more. And so I moved into clinical research, and again, every transition was super tough because I found that folks love to pigeonhole. Once you start somewhere, it is so hard to move into something else.
Once you become a subject matter expert in one area,
for sure.
And can I jump in? And one of the first positions I had when I came to New York was working for a technical training company called New Horizons. And it was like doing consulting work as a full-time employee. And one of the first places that I worked in Brooklyn was Pfizer. And what was very exciting about Pfizer to me over by Marcy was the understanding that in order to bring that big corporate entity here, they had to guarantee a certain amount of jobs to locals. And I was so impressed when I remember my first day there, I went into one of the labs and saw a lot of men in color in white jackets and Timberlands. And I was like, well, hello. And I'm leading into the fact that I would also wonder in trying to figure out what you wanted to do, what you wanted to do, how often did you see people who look like you?
Yeah, that's a good question. It depends on like the organization and the field, but I found that it varied. It really did vary. but nowhere did I find that I was ever in the majority.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
You know,
That's what I
some
thought.
places there may be a sprinkle, and other places it was me. You know,
And,
perhaps in
and,
like one other
and when
person.
there were other people who look like you, and I don't know what your heritage is,
Yeah.
or if you want to share that. I find I am African American, both parents, but I'm part of a blended family. My parents are both remarried, and so my stepfather is Jamaican.
Okay.
Right. But in tech, I did not encounter very many African American women, unless it was more on the training side. It was always people of color from other countries.
Yeah.
And just wondering, and you slid right past, oh, I got my master's, da 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 da.
Yeah.
And first of all, clap for that. There is a statistic that says women of color are, you know, a higher percentile of us, of women of color, are more educated than our counterparts. And I imagine that mixes in too.
And you know, I will say, I feel like that kind of goes into the notion that we always feel that we need something. We tend to not feel that we are.
Don't knock yourself.
Right. No, I mean, I love the experience of graduate school and
to be clear, I have not, because my mama will be watching this, shaking her head at me. I went to Drexel, came to New York to be a model, got a good job, and I never went back. So I am the one who's in trouble in my family.
You're not in trouble. You are exactly where you need to be. Because I do find that, like, looking back now, I've always felt that I needed something extra to help build me. And while that's not a bad thing, you know, along the way, I've noticed others, you know, they have like this confidence, you know, this confidence. Well, I'm ready now, you know, and not
others.
and sometimes it worked out great, you know, and sometimes it didn't, but I mean, that's life.
Why watch them?
But no, it's not about watching. It's just something I noticed, you know, it's like, it's not something I wouldn't go back and say.
You bring that to a light and it veers upon yourself. So
yeah, no, I say that because, and this is not only Black women, but like women in general, we tend to always feel that we need so much more before
I
the
never
next
noticed
step.
that. I never.
Well, that's
in
because
my
you're
generation.
not. That's because you're not a woman.
In my generation, I've never noticed a woman in a need for something.
Well, it's more so with preparation. Like, we tend to want to be prepared. Before we are comfortable moving on to the next step.
I would always say, listen to your music and what you take in as music for yourself. And if your music generates that fact that you need something, then you're going off your home base. So
clearly the love and leadership in your household was a little different than in mine. I'm born in Birmingham, Alabama.
Well, there you go, down
grew up in Maryland, but my mother taught myself and my brother, and later in teaching my stepbrother, that we are invincible, and no matter how good or how accomplished we are, we can always be doing something else. Right? Or I should say something more specific.
Did your mother ever beat you? Hit you with her hand?
No, my mother used a switch.
Switch of a tree.
Yeah, but you know, I don't recall receiving any kind of spanking anytime after the sixth grade. But I'm very honest. I remember catching a couple licks with an extension cord at my grandmother's house.
Hangers.
I remember calling my mom on the old timely rotary phone, you know, screaming at my grandmother and my aunts and uncles, I'm gonna call my mama. My mother was 6 hours away. So I was in Tennessee and she's in Alabama. And I believe that part of the problem with today's children is there's not enough discipline in the home, and there's a lot of education for the young people, where some of them, I think, hold their parents hostage with that. I'm gonna call DHS or whoever it is. But I don't want to go too far at a tangent, because I really want to hear about your transition. You shared with us kind of how you think you got to the point, but the fact that you mentioned the last 12 months as being very challenging. I wonder if you could take us through the last 12 months to kind of share, because I'm sure that while we each live our own unique journey every day, that there is someone who's listening who may resonate with what you've been through, or it may inspire someone else to continue to be strong, including myself. Right.
You asked me about the last 12 months, but right before I really dive into that, I do think it's important for me to talk about a couple of years back, because it does lead into that. Like when I left, when I decided to move back to New York, decided to go back to school, to graduate school, I was.
He wants you to look at the camera.
Ah, okay.
I don't know why he just doesn't speak, because I'm gonna speak. It's live, y'all.
It's fine. I really had this desire to, I think it's very cliche, but make a difference. Like make a difference.
Yes.
From a global's perspective. Like I really wanted to have like some sort of impact in the work that I did. And at the time, I felt that public health would be an appropriate avenue, given what I had been doing and my interests overall. And I thought it was broad enough that I could kind of find my place within that. And so I moved to New York, went to NYU, and got my master's in public health. And after graduating, quite frankly, I had a hard time like finding work. In this field, like it can be challenging.
What type of job title would that be for those of us who are not familiar?
So at the time, this is me coming from clinical research. I was very fortunate and had a really interesting experience working at MSK, where I continued in the field that I had planned on leaving. However, while there, I discovered other strengths and interests that I had that I didn't really know beforehand. So I appreciated, at the time I was kind of tasked with like starting up a new service, a new clinical research service. And I really enjoyed like having that leadership role, like that leadership position, having to be very strategic with respect to how I created the service, and having that autonomy for me to really kind of do my thing. I loved it, actually, and I didn't expect to love it the way that I did. And so, I feel like every time I kind of touched in a certain area, and I kind of got to know myself a little bit more in those roles. Right. And so when I left, I wanted to work specifically for like a global health organization. I was very open to leaving the country.
A lot of money outside the country.
I mean, it can be, but I was really interested. But then along the way, I realized too that there's, there's also like almost like an illusion of, yes, we're making a difference. But then when you're in it, you realize that it's a lot of paper pushing. And so I was in a bit of a crossroads, because I felt a little bit disillusioned. I'm like, I did all this, spent all this money, and now what? So like a chance encounter, I got a job in the interim working for a consultancy, like a small like boutique consultancy that needed someone with global health background as well as clinical research. And I essentially worked as like a research manager for that company right here in the city. And I worked, and there was a program that they partnered with the Economic Development Corporation, where we provided early stage health tech startups with research testing, for their products. And it was really cool. It was really cool, exciting. Again, I realized that I'm someone who loves variety, kind of doing the same thing every day, day in, day out. Like that gets old very fast for me. So I enjoyed that. But I ended up leaving after about 2 years. And and I got a job working with IBM Watson Health after that. Nice. And I love that. I love that role. And again,
what was different about the role that intrigued you more?
I mean, with IBM, it was definitely more global. Like my clients were all over the world.
Did you have to travel?
I did.
Oh, yeah, excellent. Would you I feel like there are young people, middle industry people, and seniors. would you mind sharing some of the places that you went to? Because I think this is a topic that maybe people never thought about.
Yeah.
And as they do some research, they might find, hey, I'm interested in similar opportunities.
So the clients, because they were essentially clients that I would go and visit.
Yeah.
So as an employee of Watson Health, we had, of course, products, and the clients or hospital systems that licensed our products. They would work with my center. It was like the Center for Research Evaluation, and I essentially collaborated with them to develop research studies that would help them prove their use case, like for the products, and how exactly how this is of use and this is bringing value to their systems. And so, and again, like super cool work. I traveled a lot of clients in Asia at the time.
Oh, nice.
So I had clients in Korea, China, Thailand. I've been to Brazil a lot. We had an amazing client in Brazil that I spent quite a bit of time traveling to and helping them develop studies. And this is me alongside a team. This is not like me solo.
No, I understand. And I think depending on your career, I worked in tech. And so I've also been to China and Asia to work. And I think the reason why I'm focusing in on that, the YouTube is a big place, right? And I want young people who look like us to understand you don't have to just be an influencer,
right?
Or a rap star or a sports figure to travel internationally. And I want to bring back, just a plug, we're in Ling's Salon, right? And everyone knows that celebrity stylists, they will travel with artists. There are positions where you might be in a studio for film. You might travel to other countries. I was watching a celebrity stylist on Instagram who also went to Korea recently, and woman of color. And she said never in her life, when she started putting makeup on her dolls, did she ever fathom that it could take her out of the country.
Yeah.
Right. So I just want to make sure that when you talk about what you're doing, that people understand there are jobs that you can do here.
Oh yeah.
That can take you all over the world.
Actually, yeah. And I mean, I didn't really talk about it before, but in my role within clinical research specifically, I used to travel quite a bit, mostly within the United States, but sometimes out of the country. And so I also traveled to the UK, both in my previous roles and as well as with IBM. But I mean,
and it's kind of fun. It's empowering, especially when you travel in the same markets and people recognize you, or hotels and things like that. That's something I miss. That I think right now, part of my transition, this half of my body does not want to go back into corporate.
Okay,
right. This half of my body, which is attached to my bank account and the ability to want to live comfortably when I'm older, says, hey, let's go back and get some of that false security that biweekly paycheck gives you, and that good insurance, especially under this administration. But I'm very impressed. You're very humble, right? I like how clinical research, and that is when people, I heard a quote of someone who doesn't look like me on social media, and he was saying in reference to DEI that women of color are not intelligent enough to process things, to have these brain strenuous type of jobs, to which he talked about being vice president or being a judge. And I think a lot of people don't look at us and also understand the amount of research that we do as well, and other parts of healthcare. Because when you say healthcare, to some people, all they think about, which is not saying it's not as important, especially in Brooklyn, they talk about home healthcare attendants or nurses or doctors. There's other parts to it.
I mean, these are roles that require extensive training. Yes. And extensive education and expertise. So I mean, this is nothing to sneeze at. With respect to that, I mean, that comment, it's so ridiculous. It's like, you can't even take it seriously. Like, that's
I
clearly,
I
clearly it's
asinine.
ridiculous. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you say like I'm humble. It's like I will say, like, I feel like, I've gone the path that I felt, was right for me. But quite frankly, like, I really could have done anything I wanted to, like, if I wanted to,
I believe you.
I don't really think that there's anything that I couldn't have, I still can't. I mean, even at this point in my life, it's really just making a decision
That you
and
wanna
then
go to it.
focusing on that. But I don't really necessarily think that there are limits. I don't believe anybody should.
I agree.
I have the basic fundamentals. I know how to read. I know how to analyze. And after that, you can figure out just about anything.
And
Have females broken that color barrier wall? The color barrier wall.
across industries?
Across industry, in corporate? And
I would say we have. We have women of color astronauts.
Yeah.
We have doctors. We have lawyers. We have truck
everybody.
drivers. We have everything. But I want to say something really quick because we're talking about the topic, and you said something that's pretty key to one thing that I wanted to introduce on the show. What you've done to this point is amazing, and what you do from this point of your life going forward can be equally as rewarding and amazing.
I call it my act 2.
Right. So I'm going to jump on the train for that as well. But I just want to say, as a side note, if you are in New York State and New York City, and you are let's say, recipient of SNAP and on the HRA program, a lot of people don't realize right now you can go to a CUNY or SUNY school to get a 2-year degree for free if you're under the age of 55, right? Right now, the fall season is booked out, right? Enrollment is closed, but spring is open. So literally, you can be sitting in your house today doing nothing and on cash assistance, right? And you can literally enroll for free to get a 2-year degree. And under this administration, everybody can. So you may not be able to get the accreditation you need to do your role in a 2-year span, but you can get a 2-year degree to give you opportunities to continue down that road if that's something you wish. And so for those people who are interested, you can leave comments on our YouTube channel, or I'm going to advise you to reach out to your local assembly member within your district. This is available to everyone in the five boroughs and in New York State who is on HRA. So I'm going to give it back to you. That was our little commercial break for our listeners.
No, I did not know that, and that's an amazing program opportunity, and I definitely hope more people take advantage of that. Absolutely. But I touched on just kind of like the last thing I was talking about was just belief, and I can't stress enough how much belief in oneself, how imperative that is.
Absolutely.
And I feel like even within myself, there have been levels of my belief in myself. Like it wasn't where it is right now in this moment. It wasn't always like that. I feel like the last 12 months speak more to that evolution. So after leaving kind of corporate, essentially, I actually did complete pivot. You asked me about my background. So my family's from Haiti. Both my parents are Haitian, like born in Haiti, and I'm the first generation. Me and my 2 sisters were first generation. So born here in Brooklyn. But I had an opportunity. I left. Well, my company was essentially like bought out by a private equity. And there was I was essentially kind of laid off at that point. But I had a cushion, and I had an opportunity to really sit and think about what I wanted to do, and for the first time, kind of sit and breathe and think about that. And it was like it was so interesting. I knew I wanted to do something that was, again, still like meaningful work. And I was like, well, maybe this is my time to go back into like the public health. I was a bit kind of veered off course a little bit. And so I had an opportunity actually to work for an NGO
nice.
in Haiti.
And so for NGO, can you tell our audience what NGO means?
Non-governmental organization.
Yes.
So it's a very small organization, but incredibly impactful. I mean, it was just like such an amazing time and experience.
I would think so, especially if it took you back to your home country as a first generation person to be educated here and go back and contribute to. I worked in Haiti in 2014. Yeah, it was an amazing experience. I feel like if each person of color stepped one day into either Haiti, Africa, Jamaica, these predominantly Black and brown places that we only saw images that this nation gave us, and we have an experience, we would have more empathy and understanding for each other.
For sure.
But I applaud you for being able to go home and contribute. That had to feel good.
It was great. I mean, I wasn't living there full time. I traveled there but regularly. And it was, when talking about transition, it was a transition. It was a transition because this organization, it was different. It was like in the sanitation space. It's called Soil. For anyone listening, an incredible organization to support. I know oftentimes, people are leary of
donating to places that they can't touch.
Is it exactly what it presents is what it is. It's an amazing organization with an amazing mission where we essentially or we are no longer an employee there, but they provide sanitation services to in informal settlements, communities or homes who may otherwise not have access at all.
And
they may not even have like a bathroom in their home. And so they offer a way to essentially a mobile toilet where like on a weekly basis, the trash is, or the
waste,
the refuse is collected and brought to a central composting facility and converted into organic fertilizer. And it's all done for a nominal fee. Very nominal.
That's awesome.
Affordable. Yeah. So it's so obviously you can only imagine the implications with respect to public health.
Well, the environmental issue is dead by now. I mean, they've defeated it. Everyone is included in what it is that they produce off their bodies or give off on their own aroma, or they have the technology. Well, in school, they showed it to me in City Tech with their communities, the computers. They can actually give you an environmental justice living source inside of San Francisco and show you how to get them out of that environmental living, which is not justified for their environment. They have defeated that. So I don't applaud anything like people that cannot find a way out.
Not quite certain I understand.
If at all the environment is not correct for the person, they already found a cure for that. And if it is a cure for that, why is it that they cannot find the way out? Because of the cure is obvious in their face.
Well, I think so.
Environmental justice.
But this is a different context, though.
Yeah.
Completely different context.
Yeah, but just to speak to what you're saying, if I understand you correctly, Rickie, is that it's like saying right there off camera is a container of Poland Spring mortar. And so if I am thirsty, why don't I just take a drink? Because there's a way to remedy the problem. Part of the reason is education, accessibility. And so in what I think Winnie was speaking about with Soil and Haiti, those individuals where they might know somewhere there is
Somebody's
a place
going
that
to.
somebody has a bathroom. I should be able to fix it. They don't have the money and the ability to access it, right? So
It's right there.
No, it's not. It's not.
Okay, so we're going to
Pass over
agree.
that.
Well, no,
We'll pass
I don't
over
want to say
But
pass.
it's going to come up eventually.
Yeah.
It's going to come up.
I don't want to say pass over, but we will agree to disagree in our
I've seen
difference of
In
understanding.
Jamaica, they ground out their beachfront, took all the sand in their beachfront without a single word from Jamaican people. They love the beach.
Okay, so what I love about Rickie adds a different dynamic to the show. His many years of wisdom. He's seen some things we haven't.
Yeah.
And I'm sure somewhere in Jamaica they took some sand without
All
letting
of
people
it,
know.
not the sun, all of it, every inch of it.
Oh,
It
okay.
is no longer a value. You cannot go onto that beach.
Well, you're speaking out about a beach somewhere, not all of the beaches in Jamaica.
Well, it's pretty much the largest beach in Jamaica. I don't know the name. So
Okay, so
can't
for all my
reflect on it.
Jamaicans, before you reach out to me, Dad, before you tell
Why
me
would
thing or
they
two,
reach out
just
to
remember
you?
those comments did not come out of my mouth; they came out of Rickie's mouth, and Winnie just laughed. Okay, but and
No
it's-
comment.
exactly.
If I bring it up again, I bet you'll say, "Oh yeah, that's right."
and that's fine because I respect my elders, and so we're gonna
There
go
you
on
All right.
to the
Donnatella
next thing.
is always respecting her elders. Right?
Yeah, well, I respect each one of us, and we have different accounts of things. Like my mother, I will tell my mother about a lot of things that I experienced as a child, and my mother will always look at my brother and be like, "I don't know what's wrong with your sister. That never happened. That never happened."
You got just a quite interesting interest of my own.
Mhm.
Did you know there was a meteor that actually flew through all the galaxies and came to the Earth and turned away because the sun was gravity? We had a moment
Mhm.
that we was going to be destroyed.
Oh, there.
Did you know that?
So I do know that quite frequently there is discussions about large meteors that are in different places in line to crash into Earth.
But this one was going to destroy Earth altogether.
No, I've heard that. I also heard that on one of the Superman episodes as well. But right now, though, in all fairness,
they would turn to the white man and call him Superman. What, that's
oh
what
Lord!
Remember, that's doing all day.
That's
he is not Superman. He needs a partner to help him.
Okay, y'all hear Rickie? I'm just saying. Yes, let's not bring up Superman because one of the Superman actors is not my favorite person right now, as he has taken a job applied for with ICE, but we won't go there.
Remember, I saw that.
Yeah. There's so much going on in the world, and today, in case you all didn't notice, today is National Winnie Day, and so we are letting Winnie navigate the show and make sure that the things that she wants to share with us that we can possibly grow from comes out. And Rickie and I like to banter a bit, which is why we have Winnie in the middle. So on that note, we're going to go back to Winnie
Winnie, yes.
So and let you continue.
So I had an incredible transition during that period because the organization was, it's an organization based in Haiti serving Haitians, in Haiti.
Mm-hmm.
The research that we were doing, as the director of research, I had to essentially develop research strategy, which kind of helped bring in more funds, for the organization. So incredibly important. But that required going out into the community, like assessing what the needs were. And in my case, I'm like, although I am Haitian American, there's a very big difference between being Haitian American and Haitian. And I learned that quickly.
And just like, and I think just like any native country, when you come from foreign, as they call it, they quickly let you know.
They didn't
speak Creole.
I didn't. I thought I did because speaking to your grandmother until I was put into a workplace and the level of discomfort that I had to get over. I learned, and everyone was wonderful. Like I didn't go into that experience where I was shunned or anything. Everyone was completely wonderful and welcoming and what have you.
In the work environment.
In the work environment.
And when you went out into the, because I know my experience as an African American when I got ready to go to Haiti, I was so surprised. Just when I made the announcement on my Facebook page, oh, I'm heading to Haiti on Monday, and this was in 2014.
Yeah, before it's now it's a different environment.
It was interesting how many of my Haitian friends were like, why are you going to Haiti?
Yeah.
And that was part of the reason I was going, right? So this is also before they had the entire campaign to invite. I distinctly remember when Russell Simmons' daughters and popular DJs, when they started the spring break campaign, which became very popular. That's before they started having all those big day parties and things. You seem to be highly intellectual. I am equally a party animal. My friend.
No, I mean, it sounds like a good time. I was like, I just wasn't aware.
I didn't go, but yeah, so there was a whole campaign when, because my meeting when I went was actually with some members of tourism and a couple of, I want to say they were ambassadors. I don't remember the title now.
I have an idea. 2014, it was a very different time.
Yeah, like and it was when they were trying to focus on the diaspora and entice the second or third generation Haitian to come back home, because we all know even today that there are a lot of non-Haitian US people investing in Haiti or buying up land. And for those of you who don't know, see a part of Haiti that maybe is not what you see normally in the news. Haiti has some of the most beautiful white sand beaches.
Yes. That's why they took it.
High in resources. I was actually taken over there by someone who was looking to purchase a hotel and wanted me to do a walkthrough and see
if
how
somebody
easy to
cut
check
you,
it out.
would you notice it? You are so cold. You are so cold. I like that. I like. You're so.
I'm an Aries.
You're very good. You're very good. You're so cold.
Or what's the new thing they're doing? I don't know what that is, but that's the clapback.
You would never notice it.
Don't pay attention to my nail I broke. But no, I think that's the fun thing about this show. It's a conversation. Sometimes we even forget to look in the camera.
Yeah.
Duke has
intently looking at you.
Duke has a hard time. But that is also why I tell Duke he should wear a mic, and every once in a while, people like to hear his calming Libra voice from the other side. So it drives me nuts. I'm just so.
And Catherine, Catherine's another one.
And yes, we do miss Catherine. She is not behind the camera today. She got better things to do.
But what I want to ask you all about the 300,000 women that was pushed out the job force, and some of them had to go and do their own thing.
When was this?
So this is within like the federal government, the reductions.
And I think because Duke doesn't have on a microphone, I want to make sure you guys heard what he said. So Duke has presented a question to us regarding the 300,000 women of color, Black women, who no longer have employment, and how we feel about it. And since it is Winnie Day, and she is a woman of color, we'll let her speak first, and then to break up the female camaraderie, Rickie can give us his opinion and comments, and then I'll give mine. Rickie, you're looking at your watch. Is it almost time to go?
Yeah, we got 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Oh, really? I see 9. See, I told you that's how easy it is. Okay. It just flows. So your thoughts, and if it's a document. Ooh, what's that word? I really need to eat. I'm thinking of tacos.
People, it's not my word. It's she said that.
Exactly. I would claim that bad grammar. If it's a topic that you'd rather skip over, you could do that as well.
No, I think Duke is referring to just right now, because right now I am currently unemployed.
Me too.
Yeah. And so, but it's, like my goal with that is to essentially start my own research consultancy. And this was a plan that I had even before like the new administration came, but and it kind of just like developed. I knew that, my time in my previous role at Soil was coming to an end, and I worked really closely with them to transition out. And even while there, like I hired local staff. I knew, as a diaspora and as someone who wasn't even living there full time.
Yeah.
And so I needed people
on the ground,
not only on the ground, but people who were born and raised there. It couldn't just be like this steady stream of just American students who wanted international experience and went to Haiti for a couple of years and then left.
Right.
We needed people who were stable and invested.
Right.
Not that others were invested, but
I get it. You're thinking about generations paying it forward.
Yeah.
And something that's going to be everlasting.
Exactly. So I myself transitioned out, but I knew that I needed something different for myself. I needed, the space to do something new. And a lot of it is interesting. This is where it kind of like veers into other areas. Like after this election, I just had my intuition kind of really kicked in. I've
and
always
you mean
been,
the presidential election
the presidential elections here.
Okay.
I've always been a fairly intuitively guided type of person, even with my data analysis kind of background. But it's kind of, I merged the two, right? And I respect my intuition and the unseen, essentially.
Right.
And so after the election, I just had this profound intuition that I need to go inward.
Yes.
I need to go inward. And whatever it is that's going to get me through, it's going to be diving deeper in ways that I had never done before. And so that kind of led me to different folks, different folks who, I kind of dived into numerology and astrology. I dived into areas I dove into areas that were different for me. But there was a lot of connections. There were a lot of connecting dots, and I was doing a lot of writing, and
maybe a book in the future.
No, journal writing.
Okay,
these are journal.
But you can take a journal and morph into a book.
Sure, you can. You can. But this was a different type of writing.
Okay.
And this was suggested by actually the numerologist that I went to. She suggested this book called The Power of the Non-Dominant Hand, I believe. And it really is kind of it's this technique where, the idea is we don't really use the
majority of our
brain,
yeah,
particularly with the right hemisphere. And so the idea is with most of us being right-handed, utilizing the left hand for communication to write, profound things happen.
Wow. Well, what's the word? Because I want to say one of my relatives is it ambidextrous?
Yeah, ambidextrous. When you can do both. Yeah.
Saying that now tonight, I know a lot of us are going to be scribbling on our table because the thought of actually trying to write with my left hand, I think would make me fight myself. Just thinking of holding the writing utensil.
Lots of practice. It's not comfortable, and you really kind of have to go into this meditative state, but it's actually really wild what can come up. It's used in art therapy. I mean, if anyone's interested,
they do that.
If anyone's interested, the book is really interesting.
I'm now going to look at it.
You should.
But as a side note, I thought, and lots of things are urban legend, but I thought they said historically left-handed writing people are kind of kooky.
That's true.
But
you have to be careful you have to be careful with how they brand.
Right.
In sports, they used to tape your right arm or your left arm to your body to make sure you don't use it.
In order to
they talk about that in the
technique.
book.
That was a very good technique.
I mean,
it was.
It
worked.
For whom though?
Yes, it's because that sounds a bit torturous.
They talk about
a few professional basketball players that went through that.
They talk about that in particular, kind of almost the demonization of that side.
I think that's what that is exactly what they did, because that associates the people who are left-handed.
Yeah.
They because I think, could be wrong, I remember them saying that and maybe I shouldn't even say his name with all the stuff that's going on, but there's someone from Germany, I think he was, and they said he was left-handed. Yeah. but there is. I'm going to try that. If you're watching us live or you watch us later, I would love to hear in the comments how many of you actually try writing left-handed.
Yeah.
And we should try
Or
for at least a week.
right-handed.
Yeah.
I'm
Or
left-handed.
What was that?
I am
He is left-handed.
You are left-handed.
Hence, some of those comments that Rickie makes, we now
You got
understand.
it.
Like it all makes sense.
No, I love Rickie James.
Yeah.
I'm teasing.
But it's really interesting. I like the book kind of goes deeper into
I've
that.
seen that book, but I
and-
never read it.
Yeah, no,
say the
it's
name
real-
one more time for
the
us.
power of the non-dominant hand,
Power of
or the
non-dominant.
power of the other hand, something
other
like
hand.
that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And I believe the author's like Lucia Cappuccino.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out because Lucia didn't pay for any ad credit. So
She did not.
we don't need to go
She
into
did
that
not.
level of detail for her.
But I mean, the point is like that was like a journey in and of itself, like the writing and really kind of going
Very
within
interesting, very
and
interesting.
making decisions kind of like based on like the strengthening of my intuition and kind of like intuitive downloads that kind of came
So I
about
hope you
along
girls
the way.
find a job. I'm thrown back by that issue.
Well, I'm thrown back by the fact that this big grown man just referred to us as girls, and so because
sorry,
yeah,
you women.
and
You know,
I'm
I can't
teasing.
see it. I can't see it. I see you as girls. I can't see it as women.
There's a
Don't say us as women.
wait. There is a saying that you are now currently digging yourself deeper in the hole. But to be clear, Rickie James is a beautiful human being, an excellent gentleman. But I find as of this year, I am working closer with a lot of the seniors in my community. And to be perfectly honest, a lot of the elders that I'm working with will refer to me as a girl, right?
It's relative.
But I want to say, here's the funny part about the stigmas. It would be seen inappropriately if I were to refer to you as a boy automatically.
No.
Primarily,
Not really.
Primarily because of the
What
racial
you do,
implications
what you do, what
of
you say.
boy in reference to a Black man. Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm on a couple streaming platforms, and every now and then I notice that the male counterparts will talk to all the men, and then they'll say something like, "Hey, let's hear from the girls," or let's hear from, or even in that context, let's give the ladies a chance.
Yeah.
It speaks to it speaks to there not being equality on the platform, and I'm not talking about education wise, right? So just because I know the internet can be a crazy place, I just want to let you guys know that it's all love in this community family. The founder of Ling's Salon never comes in front of the camera, but she is always here supporting us, halfway listening and halfway not. And this is a woman of color owned location here. And the other part is that on Friday nights, Rickie always has a date and has to go. So you just saw him on camera say, "Wrap it up." Let's give Winnie.
To leave early.
Again, some of us don't have dates, nor jobs to be 2 a.m, so we're chilling. But we're gonna let Winnie share her closing
She's
statement.
too excited. I would love for her to come back.
Yeah, I'm sure she will.
I
Unless you
wish
scare
you
her
would
away.
love it.
But since you want to go,
Scare
I want
her
to
away.
give Winnie the opportunity. A couple things. Any departing statement you want to make, and if someone is interested in reaching you, if you have I don't recommend giving out numbers here on the internet, but if you have any type of social media or an email address, or if you want to wait and share that part and just let people dance in the comments,
Sure.
That's fine too. But let's let you make your closing
statement.
for us.
I think in terms of transitioning, as I mentioned, I'm still in this transition mode, just kind of onto new adventures. But right now in this time, just being more intuitively guided, very thoughtful, but also very certain. I think the more I ground myself, the stronger I feel, really, and sure about like my vision for myself. And I know you want me to get a job, and I mean,
I hope
this is.
I'm only hoping.
I will. I am working, and I will work. And
I think get a job or
create a business,
which is what she's doing.
Yeah,
right. I mean,
so
work will be done.
That's
work will be done. Yeah. It's like,
and let's change the word, because I heard I don't know if it was Assembly Member Brian Cunningham or if it was a Hakeem Jeffries that was speaking. Nope, I'm all the way wrong. It was Reverend Waterman from Antioch Church, and talking about that education opportunity that I mentioned earlier. He said, going forward in our community, we need to help one another get careers that are long lasting, and jobs he equated, which I think was kind of wrong, but he equated to like, maybe you're working at McDonald's or something like that. And I worked at McDonald's before y'all come after us, and got a book scholarship to go to school. Excellent. And you can become a franchise owner, and swing shift managers start at $65,000 from years ago at McDonald's. So don't frown on those people.
Sleep on that, right?
Right. But your closing statement.
Yeah, I feel like, now's the time to I think it's important for us to go for what we want, but also like work really hard, or be very strategic about like how it is that you go about doing it, and utilize all of the resources that are available, and including community. I mean, this is we can dive so deeply into that area, but for me, this is a very exciting time. As I mentioned, this is my Act 2. There's so much that I learned in Act 1, and I'm very ready to kind of put that into action. And I honestly feel like this is the best version of me that's ever existed. And I'm ready to just move forward, and to really kind of create a life for myself, the life that I see in my mind,
Well, I think that's wonderful. I want to applaud you for being on the show with us. Hoorah. Rickie, do you have any closing statements?
No closing statements. I enjoyed this session. I wish for Winnie to come back.
Yes, I think
it's not a request. I wish it would be an update of all her life. And when she does come back, there is a few people that promised to come back, but they did not make that effort. So I see
throw them under the bus.
Right.
I love Rickie. So Winnie, you know what's gonna happen in another quarter when we don't see you. He's gonna be throwing you under the bus too. Because it is now, no, I'm teasing. It's 8:05 and we know that our lovely Rickie James has a life. I want to remind people that you too can be a guest on Community Cuts, because it's all about community. So this is the YouTube. Soon in the next week or so, there should be an Instagram account as well. I am Donnatella C from MyHungryWorld. You can find me anywhere on that platform. And as we move into the next season, it's almost winter. Can you believe it's almost time to put our clothes on and be inside?
Let's enjoy fall.
Yes.
Let's enjoy fall.
And on that note, we'll stay with fall. Come back and see us again next week. We're going to watch Rickie run out for his date. And we two unemployed ladies are going to continue our transition. Act 2 for Winnie. And I think I'm in the autumn part of my life. Not quite winter yet, right? But I need a rebirth. This is great. You're a natural. I see a podcast in your future. And first of all,
Oh, thank you.
I love the reflection, everything. As we wrap out, are the credits rolling? Are we still live? They love to listen to us gibber jab.
This is fun.
It's hot. Me and my half winter summer dress burning up.
Who knows what the temperature's like right now.
And we're still live. Would you like your water?
Yeah.
You got it. One of these days we're gonna have to drink from my canister. I think everything else looks nice too.
Thank you. Oh, we didn't
Okay.
get a chance to talk about our aura rings.
Oh, we did not. You have to come back. I'm gonna tell you. Actually, I'm gonna ask you if I can take a picture of our hands together in your bracelet.
Sure.